Hi guys, welcome back. Hope you're doing well. Today's lesson is still on finding volumes of composite figures, but today you'll have to read a little bit more to understand the situation, but I still think it's not too bad. Here's your reference sheet again. Okay, first problem. Make sure you take the time to read this carefully. Notice there's a cylinder, but there's also a bunch of spheres, 3 spheres, so you're going to probably need to look up 2 formulas. So I've got the cylinder formula and the sphere formula. So now, let's see what's going on in this question. There are 3 balls in a cylindrical container. The balls are just touching the top, the bottom, and the sides. Now that's important. Here's why. That means there's no space on the sides, which means the radius of the sphere is the same as the radius of the cylinder. And that's why that's important. Also, when you look at the height of the cylinder, okay, the radius left and right is the same as the radius up and down. So if this was the radius, the diameter 3 times is going to be the same as the height of the cylinder. So all that's important. So when they say that the diameter of each ball is 15, that means the diameter here is 15, 15, and 15. 15 times 3, 45 is the height of my cylinder. Okay, so now read the question, of course. The question is, what is the volume of air left in the container? You know, the space that's basically left over after the balls take up all the space. So we're looking for what is this space right here. That's the question, okay? So hopefully you can see it would be the volume of the cylinder minus the space that the spheres are taking up. So in general, I'm going to find the volume of the cylinder first, and I'm going to subtract the 3 spheres. So 3 spheres. They're all the same, okay? So the cylinder formula is pi r squared h, so that would be 3.14. R, which is half of that 15, so that's 7.5 squared, times the height, which is 45. And I can put all of that into my calculator. 7.5 squared times 45 times 3.14. So the volume of the entire cylinder so far, 7,948.125. Okay, now I need to find the volume of one sphere and then take that answer and multiply it by 3. So I'm going to put the 3 first so I don't forget it. Okay, then the volume formula, 4/3 pi r cubed. Pi times the radius, which again is, if the diameter is 15, then the radius is half that, 7.5 cubed. Okay, so I'll just put it all into my calculator. I'm going to do the 7.5 cubed, then times 3.14, then times 4, divide by 3, and multiply by 3. So hopefully you can see you could have canceled those out without putting that in your calculator. And I get my final answer for that to be 5,298.75. I'm going to double check that in my calculator right now, so let me pause for a second. Okay, so yep, I double checked that. And now to find the air that's left in the container after the 3 spheres take up so much space, subtract those. So 7,948.125 minus 5,000, that number, and I get the amount of space. The air has a volume of 2,649 point, if I'm rounding to the nearest hundredth, it was 375, but this 5 tells me to round that up to an 8. So 0.38 cubic centimeters. Okay, if you'd like to hit pause, number 1 on your worksheet is just like that. Okay, number 2. So this one looks a lot like that other one, but maybe you can tell in the picture those spheres are not pushing all the way up against the wall of the box. So you got to read carefully. So they still want to know, let's see, let's see, read the problem. They tell me what the diameter of each golf ball is. Okay, got that. Okay, so it kind of starts off the same. They still want to know how much empty space there is. So we're going to start off the same. Find the volume of the box, and hopefully remember the volume of a box, that formula is just length times width times height. Okay, but you can look that up. Okay, so I'm going to do the volume of the box and subtract out the volume of the spheres. So the volume of the box would be 3 times 3 times 3, which is 27, minus 4 spheres, or the golf balls. Okay, so that's 4 times. Formula is 4/3 pi r cubed. 4/3 times pi times the radius cubed. Now it says the radius, they said the diameter is 1.48. So you have to divide that by 2 to get the radius. Be careful, read carefully. So the radius is 0.74. And now just put all that into your calculator. 0.74 cubed times 3.14 times 4, divide by 3, and multiply by 4 because there are 4 balls. And I get that the volume of all of the golf balls is approximately 6.786. Okay, so now subtract, bring down that minus sign, 27 minus the volume of the golf balls. And I get that the amount of space in that box is 20.21 cubic inches. That's the answer to part A. Now, part B, this is not really geometry. This is more like common sense math or even middle school math. But I think it's a good question anyway. To be profitable, the box can have no more than 35% of empty space. So let's figure out what is the percent of empty space. The amount of empty space was what we found in part A. Take that out of the total amount of space in that box, which was 27. And let's figure out what that percent is. So I'm going to divide. And I get 0.748, which when you write that as a percent, you move the decimal over to, it's 74.8% empty space. 75% empty space is way too much empty space for that box. It was supposed to be 35% or less. So, is this a profitable container for shipping golf balls? Heck no. And there's your proof. Okay? All right, last one, number 3. Let's see. Tori is making a square pyramid. Oh, square pyramid candles. Okay, if it's a square pyramid, then the bottom is a square. Okay, so the bottom is a square. Since it comes to a point, the general formula is 1/3 area of the base times the height. Since the base is a square, it's length times width times the height. All right, let's see. She has 2,200 cubic inches of wax. Each candle is 6 inches tall, so the height is 6. And the base side is length 10, but they said it's a square, so they're both 10. So that's the situation we have for one candle. So let's find the volume of one candle. So the volume of one candle would be 1/3 area of the base, which is 10 times 10, times the height, which is 6. So multiply that out. 10 times 10 is 100, times 6, divide by 3, and one candle is going to take 200 cubic inches of wax. Okay, so now I got to reread the problem. How many candles did she want to make? how many candles can she make? That was the question. It says, how many candles can she make? Well, she has 2,200 cubic inches, and each candle is 200 cubic inches. So just divide that, 2,200 divided by 200, and she can make exactly 11 candles if she doesn't make any mistakes. Now, if we had gotten a decimal for that one, you have to always round down because you can't have, like let's say you got 10.7 candles. Well, that means she can make 10 or 11, but she doesn't have enough wax for 11. So you always round down in that type of problem. So I hope that that was easy enough for you. Your worksheet is just like that. Good luck. And as always, guys, please let me know if you need any help. Don't be shy.